I just feel like without Partey in that midfield to stabilize the midfield, if we put a Moreno there and we put a Trossard up 9 and you need to score a goal against Ousmane Dembele, who do you call off the bench to do that? There's
Sterling.
no other
Call Jorginho.
Jorginho is out. He's out injured.
That's the
The
problem.
thing is, there's a.
It would have been a good pick to have Jorginho in that midfield.
There's the Ukrainian on the bench.
Zinchenko
Zinchenko can play as a DM,
yes.
or perhaps the Canaries could sit deep and Zinchenko could roam.
For, yes.
You get so
it's possible. It does that for Ukraine. Actually, it does that for Ukraine. I think so.
So the way John is
I
picking
am not convinced.
The way John is
I will
picking at
not.
me.
This is Badele tactics now.
You see,
No, he plays that
now we don't call him
position
Badele
for
tactics.
No, it's Badele
I know I
tactics.
said this about.
Now let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Arsenal played a 2-2 draw at the Emirates. Kiwor scored the first goal as they equalised. Then trossard scored to make it 2-1. Then the final beautiful goal by Metata, chipping that ball over Raya to make it 2-2, ended 2-2 at the night. Okay, well, I won't say it was just a normal game for Arsenal. Everybody might say that their focus is now against on Tuesday against PSG. That's where their main focus, because there is no way in this life, even if they win this game or win the last remaining games, they are going to win the league again, because there are a couple of points behind Liverpool. But in this game, a disappointing game for Arsenal to draw that game.
Disappointing game, no doubt, because for me, I like the fact you're saying that the focus is on the Champions League and not on the Premier League, but that's not how champions think. Every game is the focus. You can't forget about today's job and say you are hoping for your promotion tomorrow. You forget about it. You have to do the job in front of you, regardless of who you are playing on Tuesday or who you are playing on Wednesday, because it's in the forgetting about today's game and playing it the way they did that, has let them fall off from where they were, from 5 points away from Liverpool now to almost 12 points now as of now or thereabout. So I think when you make the focus of your performance on a Champions League that is not yet here, and you leave the Premier League, because this season can still end with Liverpool at 80 points, Arsenal at 65. It will tell a very scathing picture of Arsenal's underperformance this season. But if the season ends at 85, Arsenal at 70 something, at least it's a respectable gap.
If you look at that game, generally Crystal Palace played well, and they scored a good two of the goals were actually good. We'll talk about those goals later. But if you look at Arsenal, the way they played that way, I think they played well. Do you think they played well in this game?
If what I think and what I know are two different things, because what I think is that was not the performance I expected Arsenal to go up with. But what I know is that there was a couple of lapses. They kept on going forward to miss their chances, creating enough chances. I think creating total of 13 chances, and big chances at least 10, and nobody was up there to bury. That was another problem from the Arsenal side again. And we talk about the set piece masters, and we were singing corner for Arsenal all season. But the team with the most set piece goals this season is, I think, in contention of that Arsenal is Crystal Palace. They've scored more of their goals from set piece, and they are leading the ranks so far among other teams in the Premier League. Aside from Arsenal, they are leading the ranks. So looking at Arsenal, the way they played last night, I expected them to score many goals. But and again, I come back to say, picking where you don't too beat, at some point, to get where you go reach, you get in a fight, one man on man. Every time they beat
by your parents.
You don't understand? Every time they beat them, once upon a time, you go still gather morale, say make he try beat you too. You understand? I'm waiting Crystal Palace for that game. So for me, what I know is that Crystal Palace have had enough of Arsenal dealing with them. The last couple of games was 5-0, 3-1, 5-1 with the resurrected Jesus scoring a hat-trick in one of those encounters. You get, so at some point you go say no, enough is enough. Okay. You get, and that was what Crystal Palace did last night. Okay,
2-2 on that night. Let's talk about those goals. Let's before talk about those goals. Let's talk about the defense, Arsenal defense. They have been making goals in recent games. And funniest part is that since Kiwor came in, he scored the first goal and he played well in this game. Since he came in to replace Gabriel, he has played well. But it's Saliba that is making the mistakes. Everybody is expecting Kiwor to make the mistake, but Saliba now in 3 games that he has made made 2 mistakes that led to 2 goals. In this particular game, he made a mistake for the second goal. I think that maybe we should actually look at Saliba, and I think I should look at him and actually talk to him, because he can't do that against PSG on Tuesday.
No doubt, he can't afford to do that. The first one was number one, receiving the ball without checking who is on him or not, and then Vinny getting that goal off him. Another one we saw was the one over the weekend, and then in this encounter now, you have the ball. Let me say, you have the ball. You let the guy muscle you out of the ball, and then he goes and he scores from there. For me, I don't
actually he muscled Odegaard, not kiwor. But I think
but he misplaced the pass.
The pass
was too short.
Was too short for Odegaard to take on, and I felt like the right pass from that in that moment.
Pass it back to
Raya, because he was at the far end. So with high press, or perhaps we call it counter press from Metata and the other guy and Esse on the both of them, and the other guy coming in for the kiwor guy. So somebody was on kiwor, somebody was on Odegaard, somebody was on him, who being Saliba. The best option of pass would have been Raya, who nobody was on at the moment. Then maybe Raya will find a pass to Partey in midfield. There's a way if you're building from the back, you need to see all those pocket spaces. And they say, no, so you're seeing it because you're watching from the TV and you're seeing the whole angle. But with the follow play, you get, with the see angle, if you don't see option for front, we send and go back. Maybe the back man send and go long. That's what we do mostly in Guadangwa FC. And for those who don't understand Guadangwa FC is football, street football. So for us in Guadangwa FC, we try to look at our options, and perhaps when we see players make the same mistake we don't make at one, we feel like at some point we're better than these players, because for that mistake the best option would have been Raya.
Okay, kiwor scored the first goal. He has been playing well since he came into that team. But hopefully he's going to start against PSG. He scored the first goal of that game. But let's talk about Eze. Eze scored a beautiful goal for a corner kick, but nobody was marking. He was outside the 18. He used his right foot to shoot that ball straight to the post. I think Eze, last season, Eze was the main focus of Crystal Palace last season, and they had to let one go. They couldn't let two of them go because I think clubs were bidding for both of them, but they got more money from Olise, so they let Olise go. Eze stayed back, and Eze has been doing well this season. I think this season he has played well, and probably he might get his big transfer this season.
Yeah, he may get his big transfer this season. If you look at his performance, if he's not scoring, he's assisting, and I think there was the last 2 games ago, he got 2 assists in that game. And you look at the performance, you look at the player, you say like, bro, this is somebody that should be playing for
one big club,
a City club, or an Arsenal or a Chelsea or somewhere, playing somewhere.
Call the big team finish. John, call the big team finish. Which one is a City or a Arsenal or a Chelsea? Chelsea don't get bloated, according to you. Bloated English squad. Man City, he go bench, because he has Foden to compete with.
I think he should go to Man City because the brother is moving.
De Bruyne is moving. Who you want play?
He played that's the Bruyne position.
Foden nko. Jack Grealish.
They bench like mad these days.
No, they have players. They just signed a Nico.
I think he should go. I think you make.
So Arsenal, on the other hand, you come Odegaard, as Odegaard just joined last night, he can play in that position.
I think he should go to City.
Then there's another club. We say Chelsea.
I'm eyeing Florian Wirtz for City, so
all these players when they call now. All these clubs ain't called. You look at the play, and we talk about the player's performance. Last season he had about 11 goals, or perhaps 11 goals and 4 assists. So 15 goals involvement last season. This season he's had 12 already, and he played less last season. So last season I think he played 27 Premier League games.
Yeah, I think because last he had Olise, so both of them were working better. And
again, the striker was not scoring goals, so one person had to turn up, and so the goals were coming from midfield. Now this season the striker is trying to score the goals. So that's why the assist numbers. Last season he had 11 goals. This season he has only 4 goals. And 8 assists, which means the number of assists went up as opposed to last season. So for me now, team where is supposed to just go play well. And that kind of Tottenham Hotspur or West Ham United, just come West Ham like this now. Go. We are champions of Europe. We've won the Conference League. So just come West Ham. We put you in line of
if you win Champions League in 2000 years, you go still touch champions of Europe. I mean, you go change the title.
You go be champions of Europe. No. Okay. If you win Champions League, you can be champions of the world.
Okay, as I scored the equaliser for that game. Good goal from him. I think maybe in this summer he might move to a bigger club. I mean, I'm thinking about City or Manchester United, because if you look at City midfield now, De Bruyne is leaving at the end of the season, even though he said that he doesn't want to leave, that Man City didn't offer him a contract, but Man City decided not to offer him a contract, so he's leaving. I think as they go into that club might actually work out for him, or go to Manchester United. It might work out for him too, because he can play behind a striker. But if you look at Eze in this game, he actually played well. Now, talking about Arsenal equalised. Trossard, good goal from Timber to Trossard. He moved the ball around well. I think that striker position against PSG have to be in contention because Partey will not play. That means Rice will drop back. Somebody has to play in that midfield. That means he has to bring up probably Moreno back to the midfield and place trossard. That's what I'm thinking. Or probably Arteta might be looking for maybe a way to manage them and play Moreno as a striker and balance it. But trossard played well in this game and scored another
Trossard
goal.
played well and he scored a goal, a very good goal.
In the first game, in the first ever game after without a striker, it was Trossard.
It was what I was starting, yes.
Yes, and he started alongside Sterling. And he was swapping with Sterling to see if they can find a way to get a result out of it. And nothing showed. And they took out Sterling and brought in Moreno, and something came up. I think Moreno got 2 goals in that encounter, and since then, there has been Moreno up front. But Trossard has been one of the strikers. I think when Welbeck was not available, he played in that position for Brighton. You get? So he's a player that can play anywhere along the front 3. He can even play anywhere along the front 4.
Yes.
Left, right, middle, behind striker.
Yes.
He's your
He's
complete
played everywhere
player.
for Arsenal.
So
yes.
and he has played there. He has done the same for Brighton. So he's doing the same for Arsenal now. He's the player that you can come in and trust. Even if he doesn't get the goal, he has somebody else to get the goal for him. Now, in Arsenal side, now you're not saying who is the striker should come and score. Like I said for Crystal Palace, when the strikers were not scoring goals, it was the midfielders. The strikers were doing hold-up play while the midfielders were getting the goals. So for Arsenal, if you're solid on the ball, you can let other people in on the goals. And I think for Trossard and for Moreno, they have to fight it out. They have to. But for in the midfield, you need strong legs. Because now, we're talking about PSG on Tuesday and next week Tuesday.
Partey is out.
Partey is out.
Rice has to drop back.
This guy has not scored. The most highest goal scoring player in 2025 has not scored a goal for like 4 games now. Now, since Dembele has not scored a goal for 3 games in a row, his goal drought continues. And Arsenal is not in Champions League is scoring multiple goals. How do you balance the midfield from shutting down this guy from not getting the goals and let his goal drought continue? And how do you shut down the attack from receiving the pass from the midfield? That's how you act. That's how you can actually stop the PSG side from coming at you and getting the result.
John, if you look at Trossard playing at that number 9, I think he played well in this game, very well, scored a goal. I think he should start against PSG if Partey is not actually playing that game.
For me, I'm actually worried because, one of the beautiful things about having Partey in the side is that while Partey sits deep, he frees up Declan Rice. And we all know that a rampant Declan Rice moving around with that freedom causes a whole lot of chaos. We saw those goals as we said against Real Madrid and the rest, and I just feel like without Partey in that midfield to stabilize the midfield, if we put a Moreno there and we put a Trossard up 9 and you need to score a goal against Ousmane Dembele, who do you call off the bench to do that? There's
Sterling.
no other
You call
option.
Jorginho.
Jorginho is out. He's out injured.
That's the
The
problem.
thing is, there's a.
It would have been a
there's-
good pick to have
There's
Jorginho in that midfield,
there's the Ukrainian on the bench.
Zinchenko
Zinchenko can play as a DM,
yes.
or perhaps Declan Rice could sit deep and Zinchenko could roam.
For, yes.
You get so
it's possible. He does that for Ukraine. Actually, he does that for Ukraine. I think so.
So the way John is
I
looking
am not
the way
convinced.
John is
I
looking
will
at
not.
me,
This is Badele tactics now.
you see,
No, he plays that- he plays that
now we don't
position
call him
for
Babylon
Ukraine.
tactics.
No,
If-
it's Badele
I know I
tactics.
said this about Reece James. He can play DM and right back, but centre half, I'm not so sure. If you see a player play in a certain position and he's not giving you 100%, but he's giving you at least 75-80%, bro, play him there.
Okay, let's see what happens. What Arsenal will choose. But Trossard played as a number 9 in this particular game and he scored a goal. But the goal did not last again. Arsenal considered that final goal. Saliba make that mistake, and Metata scored that beautiful goal when he chipped that ball over Raya couldn't recover and the ball hit the back of the net. I think Metata has done well this season.
The annoying thing for me is that Raya did not run as fast as you should have
won't
run.
catch that ball.
You should have run. Effort.
You will not catch that ball. You will not catch that ball. But finally, for Arsenal is not going to win this league. I think they are going to, 3rd season in a row. They are going to finish second, or hopefully they are going to finish second. I think they need maybe 1 or 2 things in that team for them to challenge for the league next season.
Even the blind can see they need a number 9. They need a number 9. A number 9 in this game would have been fantastic. The funny thing about this conversation is that all the potential 9s available. Look at Liam Delava, available for 30 million in that buyout clause. Look at a couple of other players, Cunha, that Arsenal supposedly have been looking out for a couple of seasons ago. All these guys are available now, and low-key men are doing things. Arsenal need to start doing things to ensure that they have better position.
What do you think for Arsenal? Second, the 3rd season in a row, second. I think if they win the Champions League, Arteta will stay. If they don't win the Champions League, Arteta will stay.
Arteta will stay either way.
So I think they need to just.
I will say something about Mateta. last season, though we were complaining about he wasn't scoring goals last season, he has 16 goals. This season he has 14 goals. But due injury. So for Arsenal, sign Mateta. Get a proper 16 goal striker. He's a 16 goal striker.
Maybe they were touting sign Tony before, sign Tony. Alpha market.
Who be Tony?
Ivan Toney.
Ivan Toney before.
It's
Sign
this Saudi
Tony,
now.
sign
They
this,
chop
sign
money
this,
for
sign
Tony.
that. Arsenal do not need this type of striker, so please go and sign a Zesco.
Okay, let's see what Arsenal is
He's
going
just
to do.
27 years
correct.
old.
Let's see what Arsenal
He's
is
a
going to
proven
do.
striker.
Let's
We
see
don't
what
want
Arsenal
someone
will-
that
well, depending
will
what-
be here 4 years and then he's
depending on
old.
what Arsenal wants to do,
Young
but
blood.
let's see what he's going to do. But in this particular game, Trossard played as a striker. And I don't know what didn't even make the bench, probably arresting him for that game against PSG. But let's see what Arsenal is going to do. But in this particular game, they drew it 2-2. But even though if they won that game, there is no way they can actually win the Premier League. It's going to be 3 seasons in a row that Arsenal has finished second. Maybe when they try the 4th time, they might able to win the league. But in this particular game, he ended 2-2 and Arsenal dropped another 2 points at the Emirates.